Hello, everyone. So wonderful to see you again. Welcome. Welcome to everyone that is new to this channel, and to those of you that have subscribed and liked and are, looking for information. Welcome. I guess to start out, my name is Maria Esposito, and I am your wholeness trainer, guide, and consultant. So, more or less, I am the owner of Revolution 9. Um, more or less, I serve and help people create, release awareness, healing, and revolutionary change. My specialty is in the area of trauma release, getting into those little nitty gritty details of, those childhood traumas or events that have occurred in your life, and having an understanding, and taking full accountability that we create our existence and we create our reality. So, getting to the nitty gritty details of those whys and those whats and those questions, that is how I serve and facilitate and help people facilitate their change. I'm just the conduit to people's transformation. And for those that are seeking to create a life of change and service to the world and alignment, I am your gal. So welcome. Lots of changes for 2025. I believe in my last video I may have shared a little bit of things to be for plans for this year. One of which is this new series, which is Release and Create. So these videos that I'll be pushing forward, every few weeks, will still be similar to my old when I was doing the YouTube lives, but I've decided to more or less incorporate these in, a little bit extended, more practical, specific areas that we deal with in our everyday lives. So whenever I'm being called to put on these videos and to share, my knowledge, my experience, and take this as this is something that I'm experiencing in my life. So I feel that the best way to share is from having those practical experience. And sometimes, I think we live in a world where we have certain expectations of, what we expect when we invest in our wholeness, and when we invest in our release, and we invest in our well-being. We have certain expectations of people that we're investing in, and what I've learned, and I was one of those people too that had certain expectations, but what I've learned is the most, you could have all the credentials in the world and still not be somebody that is in alignment with what it is that you're looking to achieve. So you could have all the credentials, and still not be in that space, and there still may be something that's missing in being able to service, to that ability. So creating that understanding, and going outside of those credentials and education and things like that, which is phenomenal. I would never say, it's great to build foundation. However, for me, it's all about the practicality. It's experience. Our greatest teacher is not education. Our greatest teacher is our own personal experience. And the more experience that we have, the greater the wisdom and the greater the teacher that we could be, if that is something that you're looking to become within your life. I never saw myself as a teacher, as an educator, as even a trainer. However, as you evolve and grow, do the self-work, change, and you'll notice that things that you never thought in a million years you would ever get into may be where you're meant to be. So, and the one thing that I say, not only to my kids, to my family, to my clients, is, be open to everything and attached to nothing. Whether that is a job, whether that's a relationship, a career, money, certain, if you material goods, and it's being open to possibility, being open to change, and not and letting go of attachments to results, attachments to people, places, things, and just being open to the possibility that, that what we're meant to do and be may not be what we think it is. So I help people to create simplicity in that space and let go of resistance. And for anyone who knows me knows that I'm very steadfast, and I could be very strict in the sense of when I get an idea, I want it to be this way. And I guess you could call that a little bit stubborn as well. I'll take full accountability for that. However, it's being on this journey of creating true release and being open to everything and attached to nothing has really made my life more peaceful, simple. Um, you know, Given me the opportunity to take that accountability in knowing that we create our destiny. So and letting go of the resistance of that, and so when you're able to release that resistance, that is true when true revolutionary change happens. So, going back to this beautiful series of Release and Create, I will be pumping out, like I said, a bunch of videos in all different topics in everyday life that anybody could use. And so for today's topic, this is gonna be a really fun one. Today I will be discussing. We will be discussing visualization and using the tool of visualization and to create intentions. So this is going to be kind of two parts because with visualization I'll be able to provide you with some techniques and things on how to effectively, and I'm sure anyone, especially in the entrepreneurial world, has heard of visualization, even if even if you aren't a business owner. I'm sure everybody has heard of visualization, but there are key components of an effective visualization. So, and I will be sharing that with you. But the other part to that is using visualization to actually create and manifest those intentions. So let's get started. So to start, let's start about visualization. So visualization has been a technique that has been around for many, 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 many years. And it's funny because when you're doing it intentionally, has such a power to it. But funny enough, we also do visualizations, unconsciously, and we do it all the time without even knowing that we're doing it sometimes. So visualization, when you're using it intentionally in a technique to manifest a certain result, the key component I want to share, and this is the thing that is such a pivotal, and this is probably the most important part of an effective visualization technique, is more or less getting into a state of feeling it. So when you're visualizing something, you're always going to want to make sure that if you feel any resistance or possibly a limiting belief or a limiting decision around that intention, or if you're feeling anything negative, you have to be very cognizant of that. If you're feeling anything negative around that intention, you're going to want to broaden that intention and make it more broader, as opposed to being very specific on what you want. You really don't want to bring in those lower vibrational energies of limiting beliefs, so limiting decision, or even just any negativity around that intention. You want to make sure that, it's always best to be very specific. However, if you're feeling any of that resistance or any of those limiting beliefs or decisions, you're really going to want to make it more generalized. So that's one key thing. The next key thing is really honing in on the feeling aspect of it. Like you have to actually create and manifest those, the visualization of what it is that you're wanting to achieve. Um, and this is also going to be coupled in. So without me reiterating in the space of intention, you really want to this could go and this aligns to intentions. So whether you're setting a goal, an intention, whatever that looks like, you really want to make sure that, again, there are no limiting beliefs, limiting decisions, there's no negativity around it. You want to be able to get into that feeling place of that visualizing. So let's use the example of wanting to manifest a certain career path. You're kind of feeling stuck and you want to create a new, possibly there's a job opportunity that you want, and you want to be able to manifest that, and you want to visualize that. Again, you want to really specifically get specific as you can without bringing in any of the negative energies around that. Then it's going through the process. For those of you that understand and know how to meditate, however it is that you meditate, for myself, if I'm doing visualization, of course, ideally you're going to want to get into a very secluded, a very peaceful, a space that is sacred to yourself, that's quiet, where you won't be interrupted. Next, you'll want to get into, and release and just kind of unwind. So taking 3, 4, 5, whatever amount of deep core breaths, close your eyes, and then get that picture in your head. So for those of you that visualize and are able to create a picture within your mind, beautiful. Now, for some of us, my understanding, and I'm not speaking for all empaths, people that tend to be very into the feeling space may have a harder time visualizing, but that's okay. Even though we're saying we're visualizing our mind, we could still create through a visualization and go through a technique without actually seeing it in our mind's eye. So feeling it is just, and that's the main component of it. So if you're not able to create a picture visually as you get into this meditative state, that's okay. As long as you're able to connect to the idea of what it is that you want, get as specific as you can without getting into any of those negative vibrations, and create that picture and get into that feeling space of what it is that you want to achieve. And always focus. You always want to focus on what it is you want to create and manifest. And the key thing, like I said, and I'm really emphasizing this, you really, really, really want to focus on the feeling aspect of it, because that is what is going to propel the visualization. So take note as you're going through this visualization. Take note of what it is that you're feeling, what it is that you're seeing. And you may need to start out and create that picture, but allow that picture to change. Allow that picture to do what it needs to do, and get into that space where you can actually feel it and notice what you're feeling within your body. Is it an emotion that you're feeling? Is it a tingling throughout your body? Or maybe some other kind of manifestation within the body. Take note of that while you're going through the technique. And I'd say, when starting out, even doing a visualization, start for 5 minutes. For people that are new to meditation, new to this practice, you know what? It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. As long as you remember what I'm sharing here, the key components, get general if you're hitting resistance or you're hitting negativity. Get into that feeling space of that picture, of that visualization, and start out with 5 minutes. Now, for those that are experienced meditators, I'd say, do a visualization for 15, 20 minutes. But really, you really don't need to go more than 20 minutes, and it's the same thing as meditation. Incorporating this in your meditation will help enhance that manifestation of the desire that you're seeking to create. So the other flip side to this is going to intentions. Now, the power of intention, it's such a powerful, when you're able to really get clarity on those intentions, whether it's for the new year, you have an intention for your health and well-being, you have intentions for your career path, and how you serve, friends and family, relationship, whatever that may be, you know, have that clarity on what specifically that you want and set that intention. So when you're setting the intention, now this is another thing that that is so beautiful about intentions. Now, sometimes, and for those of you that have tried visualization techniques and setting those intentions or setting those goals within those visualization techniques that you've done, that say may have not manifested or may have not manifested the way you wanted it to. Keeping in mind, be open to everything and attached to nothing, right? So even though that, things may shift and change, it may not be exactly where you want it to be, but it's always working out for your highest good. And you have to have it's getting into that faith space that, it may not be exactly what you want, but it's always happening for you. And it's always happening for your highest good, even if it doesn't seem like that in the moment. And that's okay. So being okay with the manifestation and the outcomes that you're creating, being okay with that. And another thing is, and this is what I found, I've been a person that's always been about reciprocity. What you put out is what you get back. What you put out is what you get back. I'm a firm believer. It's installed in me. I've taught my kids that it's about that give and take, teamwork. What you put out is what you receive. Law of attraction, whatever label that you want to use. Now, the key thing with this, and this is one thing that is such a beautiful thing, and I have to say this is the beauty in the work that I do and why I love truly serving the way I do, because when you're able to set intentions outside of self, so for example, I'm serving a client and I'm setting the intention to be that most optimal guide for my client because I want them to create the certain release, the certain healing, whatever it is. And I'm putting the intention out for them. The beauty in reciprocity and that law of attraction is when you're putting that focus outside of you, because we all have our desires, we all have our wants and our needs, but setting yourself back and setting that intention for somebody else, the beauty in that is that will come back to you. And that's the beauty in the law of attraction. And that's the beauty. What you put out is what you get back. So if you're setting an intention for somebody else's healing, you're actually receiving that healing back. Now, you may not need a healing specifically like the same intention that you're putting out to somebody else. However, it's going to come back energetically in the way that you need it. So setting intentions outside of yourself is also a really powerful way to create change in your life. And truly, you need to be in that space of true authenticity, setting those intentions for somebody else, for their own healing, for their manifestations, whatever it is that they're looking for, it is going to bring that tenfold back to you. So that's another key thing, is when you're going through this visualization technique, again, finding that space. If it's something that you're looking to manifest for yourself, releasing the resistance and allowing yourself to be open to flowing however it wants to flow within your mind's eye and getting into that feeling space. The beauty in setting intentions outside of self is the chances are you're not going to hit any resistance. The beauty in is that because this intention is for someone else. So if you're being really authentic, truly authentic to, in this intention in wanting somebody else to, we'll use an example, you're wanting a spouse or a loved one to heal in a certain way, and you're putting that out there, chances are you're not going to hit resistance unless you're being inauthentic and you really truly don't want that for them. You'll notice that resistance. But if you're being in a space of authenticity and you really truly want that person to receive that intention for you, there won't be any resistance. So allowing yourself to get into that space to truly set that intention, visualize what it is that you want for that other person, and getting very clear on that, and just sending that out through your heart chakra, and just allowing yourself to vibrate that energy and feel that energy, and allow your mind's eye to create that visualization for you. Because for the most part, you may have that intention and you may have that visual in your mind. However, that visual may expand and change as you go deeper into different states of trance as you're going through that meditation visualization journey. So allow for that to happen and see where it takes you, and let go of that resistance. Because I think sometimes we say to ourselves, okay, this is what I'm going to visualize, but we want to control that. Let go of the control and allow that visualization to take you where it needs to take it. It knows what it needs to do. And vibrationally, there is no resistance. We create the resistance within ourselves. So allow that energy to flow, allow that visualization to take it where it needs to go, and enjoy it. Enjoy the process and see where it takes you. The other key thing you want to take note when you're doing things like this, a practice of visualization, whether it's for self or somebody else, you want to be consistent. Consistency in anything that we do is also key. So really, really, really want to. So if you have a meditation practice, doing that in the morning, incorporating that intention, that visualization and intention first thing in the morning, and be consistent with that and keep up with that and have patience, right? So, or another really powerful, so I find, and this is from my own practical experience, doing visualizations or setting intentions before you go to bed is also very powerful. The one thing that we want to go, and by all means, for any of you that really don't understand the subconscious mind, unconscious mind, I do have another live stream video that talks about the unconscious, subconscious, and the conscious minds. So if you're wanting more information about that, go through the live streams on my YouTube channel that talks about the unconscious, subconscious, and the conscious minds and what the difference is between them and how they work and contribute to our everyday life. So when you are setting intentions or doing visualizations before you go into bed, the beauty in that is that if you're sleeping for 6, 7, 8, 10 hours, we live a good portion of our life asleep. So why not allow the unconscious mind to create those manifestations as you sleep? So it's not as if that you have to incorporate or do something different. Just setting that intention before you go to bed, so that your unconscious mind can actually take that idea and do what it needs to do while you sleep. So I love the power in doing the nighttime work, meditations, releases, intentions, visualizations. Very, very, very powerful. So for myself, depending on what it is, I sometimes incorporate in my daily morning meditations and my nighttime routine. So I may, again, consistency. And I would say I'm also sometimes, doing the nighttime stuff or the morning stuff, depending on what's going on in life, could be very difficult. But for the most part, I'm very, strict with my practices day and night. If you're able, if you have the ability to be able to do both, phenomenal. That will only emphasize the visualization and your intention setting if you're doing it day and night. But if you're only able to do night or day, that's beautiful. And just be consistent with it. So again, I've given you a lot of really great tips, given you some information. Let us just do a little quick of a recap. So remember, visualization and setting an intention using the visualization technique. First, you want to get into a meditative state, being in an area that is sacred to you, where you won't be interrupted. Set some beautiful music, background ambiance music to get you into that relaxed state. And then, for those of you that have watched my learning state, I would also recommend putting yourself in learning state, because you're actually putting yourself in a light state of trance, and you're putting yourself into that parasympathetic state, which is where you want to be. So that's another little tidbit for you to add to your list. Put yourself in learning state. And there is a video in my live that I did on how to do learning state. So go through my channel, go through the live streams, and you'll notice the learning state technique and how to do it properly. Get into that state, then create that intention. Create that visual of what it is that you want to create for yourself or for somebody else, and visualize what that looks like. Next key thing, get into that feeling state. If you find that there's negative emotions around it, visualize, go a little bit more general as opposed to specific. So get into that feeling state, truly feel the benefits of that intention. And then again, stay minimum 5 minutes. If you're able to stay into this state about 20 minutes, you don't really need anything more than 20 minutes. So, and then allow it to do what it needs to do. If you're doing this in the morning, great. If you're doing this at night, wonderful, because then if you're doing this at night, you're able to create, you're allowing your unconscious mind to create while you sleep. So choose your time, choose your place, and good luck with this process. And by all means, share, if you've found value in this video, please share, subscribe, and like. And until our next video, I thank you. Thank you very much. Love you all, and I will see you soon.